Hello viewers, thank you once again for switching on. I'm your host, none other than Mr. Spotter Fred. We want to continue doing what we like doing most, and this is as far as advanced financial management is concerned. Now friends, today as we said, we want to continue doing what we like doing most, and we want to proceed and deal with a new topic today in this session. This is mergers and acquisition. So we want to deal with the mergers and acquisition. Mergers and acquisition. So we want to deal with the mergers and acquisition today. We'll want to ask ourselves, what is a merger and what is an acquisition? There are, as we say, we differentiate the merger. What is a merger and what is an acquisition? And what is the difference? What is the difference between a merger and acquisition? So we say a merger is a combination of two or more equally strong firms to form a completely new entity. The firms lose their original identity after the merger, and there is a company. While an acquisition or takeover is a situation where one company known as predator acquires or takes over another company known as the target. After the acquisition, the target disappears and the predator retains its original identity. Now friends, we have simply said this. I've simply said that when you talk of a merger, two or more companies join together to form one large company. So that's what we have simply said. That is what is a merger. And we have also further talked about a merger in that if there is a merger, the companies joining together, will lose their identity, and a new name will be created. So when there is a merger, a new name will be created. That is in a case of a merger. We can give examples of a merger. We can give examples of a merger include like ICA. We have the ICA Lion. And we also have SmithKline, GlaxoSmithKline Beecham. We have the GlaxoSmithKline Beecham, and this was a merger between Glaxo Wellcome. There is a Glaxo Wellcome and SmithKline Beecham that formed GlaxoSmithKline. These are some of the examples of the wild examples or good examples, but I'm not saying these are the only examples. As we said, we have ICA Lion, we have GlaxoSmithKline, which is a formation of Glaxo Wellcome and SmithKline Beecham. We have the CFC and stamping, and we have many other examples in the world that have merged. Those just but a few. We also have acquisition, as we must have said. We have said acquisition. In acquisition or takeover, one company, as we must have said, one company takes over takes over the business of another. Takes over the business of another. That's one company takes over the business of another. The company taking over the business of another will be referred to us as the acquirer, the predator or acquirer. While the company whose business is taken over is referred to us as the target. Is referred to us as the target. So that's the position. So we have the target and we have the predator. So the predator takes over the business of the target. And you should remember the target loses its identity, while the predator retains its identity. So you should remember that. So the target loses its identity while the predator retains its identity. And that is the acquisition. We can give examples of acquisition, maybe all over the world or even in Kenya. So let's look at examples. What do you think are the examples of acquisition? One of the examples is maybe we can say Brookside took over. Brookside company. Brookside took over Tuzo. So Brookside took over Tuzo. Now, under your information, Brookside has taken over a good number of companies and is likely to take more and more. So those are examples, or one of the example of an acquisition. We also have another example, maybe in Kenya based. We can also see Nakumatt took over Walmart. At some point, there was a Walmart that was in Kenya. It was taken over by Nakumatt. That is the Kenya example. So we have many other examples of this acquisition. So we don't have Walmart in Kenya. The Walmart was taken over by Nakumatt. We don't have it at all. So we are likely to see more of this. And there are more examples that we may have in the world of acquisition. Fine. So we'll want to look at some of the examples or types. What are the types? The types of mergers. What are the types of mergers? There are mainly three types of mergers. There are mainly three types of mergers. There are mainly three, meaning there are other types of mergers. We have horizontal merger. We have horizontal merger. B, we have the vertical merger. C, we have the conglomerate. The conglomerate merger. These are the main types of mergers. We have the three main types of mergers, and as we have seen, we have the conglomerate merger, we have the vertical merger, and we have the horizontal merger. We also have other types of mergers, one of them being the market extension and product extension. So we are saying we have others, other types of mergers. Let me call them now D. We have the market extension, we have the market extension, we have the market extension, and we have the product extension. We have the product extension merger. We have the product extension merger. Now let's start explaining on from the horizontal merger. Horizontal merger is a type of merger that involves companies in direct competition with one another. Often horizontal mergers are considered hostile, which means a larger company takes over a small one in more of an acquisition than a merger. An example of horizontal mergers in the traditional sense is the combination of a car company, and that is Chrysler, and Daimler-Benz. We also have another example of a merger, that is Smith, Klein Beecham, and we have Glaxo Wellcome. That's an horizontal merger. Fine. We also have the vertical merger. Vertical merger is one of the most common types of mergers. When a company merges with either a supplier or a customer to create an extension of the supply chain, it's known as a vertical merger or integration. An example of a vertical merger may be a steel company merging with a car manufacturer. The steel company was previously a supplier to the car manufacturer, but after the merge will be part of the same company. So we also have conglomerate mergers. These are types of mergers that are in different market businesses. There is no relationship between the type of merger, the type of business one company is in, and the type the other is in. The merger is typically part of a desire on the part of one company to grow its financial wealth by merging with a completely unrelated but often equally profitable company. The resulting conglomerate gains a revenue stream in many types of industries. For example, we have Samia Group, that is a conglomerate of agriculture, manufacturing, distribution, information technology, construction, transport, and finance. We also have Nation Media that has broadcasting, publishing, television, and printing. We have I&M Bank Group that is will have banking, insurance, restaurants, bars. We have Centum that will have publishing, automobiles, insurance, and real estate. We have TransCentury that will have publishing, automobiles. We have insurance and real estate. We have Olympia Capital Group, building material, household chemicals, specialized engineering. Those are the examples of conglomerate mergers. Market extension is similar to horizontal mergers in that the companies merging produce the same types of products. The difference, however, is the companies are not in direct competition with one another. Instead, they compete in different markets, such as one company being North America based and selling only in the US, and another being in Asia based and only selling in China. By merging, the new company will have greater access to sales as a whole and also be able to gain synergies through combined manufacturing or research and development. We also have the product extension. These are mergers that are types of mergers that combine companies that sell related products in the same market. An example of this will be Snow Sky manufacturer merging with a Sky apparel company. Both companies are selling to the Snow Sky market, but by combining their product offering is extended. Friends, in simple terms, we have said horizontal merger can be an example of the GlaxoSmithKline Beecham. They are all dealing with the same business, the same line of industry. Vertical merger, in simple terms, is whereby there is they are going to merge in the same line of industry but in different levels of production. Conglomerate merger is where two or more companies merge that are doing unrelated business. And you have seen like Samia Group, we have seen Nation Media. Those are the examples that will have to deal with different things. Maybe like Nation Media, we have a publishing company. We also have the broadcasting company. We have many other companies under Nation Media. So that is a conglomerate merger. Then we have other types. When you talk of market extension, we are dealing with having the same product but in different markets. Maybe one market they are selling in Kenya, the same product is sold by another company in Tanzania. So they will merge to increase their market cover-up. Then we also have the product extension. This is a merger whereby two or more companies are selling related items, related products in the same market. In one market, but they are related products, so they merge. So these are the examples or the types of mergers that we can identify ourselves to. So don't forget that market extension is almost like horizontal merger, and that is important to know that. Very, very, very important with this. We have even given examples on these types of mergers in the world. Fine. Now, friends, we'll want to look at the main reasons. The main reasons why reasons or advantages, or advantages or benefits of mergers. We'll want to see these element reasons why companies merge, reasons why we'll want to advantages why we'll want to merge or acquire. In fact, let me say benefits of mergers and acquisition. So we'll want to look at the reasons, advantages, benefits behind a merger or an acquisition. What advantage will you have when we merge? Number one obvious reason is the risk diversification. Risk diversification is a risk diversification. When you talk of risk diversification, we'll look at an example of conglomerate merger, where you'll merge with different companies doing unrelated business. And in that, when you have different companies merging together, doing different businesses, then it means that if at some point one company is not profit making or may not be doing very well business-wise, then those losses you are making in one company can be easily offset by the losses made in another company. We diversify that if we cannot do business in this at some point, then we know that we can have a makeup on the same in another company that may be doing well. This also well explained when you talk of even portfolio theory. You have a portfolio of investments, so you can easily diversify risk. Where you are dealing with, for example, you merge with a company. One company is dealing with the mabati rolling, mabati to merge with Coca-Cola company. In that there is a conglomerate that they are not related. That at some point we may not be selling Coca-Cola products, but we may be selling mabati products. So that's exactly an example of a risk diversification kind of scenario, and that will be the main reason, one of the main reasons why we'll want to have a merger. Now, we may also have another advantage is tax savings. Tax savings. Friends, one company may merge with another company or may acquire another company that is making losses, or you acquire another loss-making company, in other words. If that is the case, one company, the acquirer or the predator or the one company will reduce the profits. If you have merged with another loss-making company, then you will definitely offset your profits that you have been making. In the process, you end up paying less tax because you don't pay tax on losses. If there's a loss-making company that's merged with a profit-making company, it will neutralize the profits. And in the process, one company will end up, the company that has merged or has acquired will end up paying less taxes. So that will give us the tax savings. Apart from that, we may also have other kind of examples of tax savings. There is interest tax benefit. Maybe the other company will have the element of there is more geared or levered, and in that case there is interest expense. If there is interest on another company that is geared than the other, there will be interest tax benefit, and that's what will give us a tax saving. Very important, and is important to look at it from that direction. Now, apart from the tax savings, friends, we also have the empire building. We have the empire. We have the empire. We have the empire building. We have the empire building. When it comes to empire building, some companies will always want to merge or to acquire another in order to be seen to be having a greater impact to the economy, in order to be seen to have a greater input as far as the economy is concerned. And some managers or some CEOs of some companies will always prefer when they are CEOs of bigger companies, unlike being a CEO of a small company. So when you are an empire building, then it means that you can easily be identified as one of the economic decision makers in a given economy. So that's very important. That's empire building advantage. Now, because of space, I'll move this other side. We say one of the other advantages is a continuation of advantages. So we have another advantage, that's number 4. We have the asset backup. Asset backup. Yeah. This is whereby we not only merge just for the sake of empire building, but we also own some assets. Some companies will merge and acquire another if the other company will have some preferable assets. That instead of purchasing our own assets, we'll easily acquire another company or merge with the other company that has the same assets. In the process, we not only own the company, we also own the assets. Now, the assets also includes the human resource aspect. So that is one of the very important reason of merging, asset backup. Number 5, we also have the asset breakup value. The asset breakup value. Now, we can also say asset backup is simply asset acquisition. So asset breakup value, where we'll want to acquire or merge with another company. After we have merged or we have acquired, then we can easily now sell the assets of that other particular company and realize more than if we could have just sold the company as a whole. So we sell the assets of that particular company that we have merged with or we have acquired, and we realize more than we expected. So that's another advantage of these mergers and acquisition. We also have management acquisition. Management acquisition. Some companies may not be able to attract the best top managers. The top managers may be very selective in going for jobs even if they are hunted down. So what will happen is that the company that is unable to attract the best performance from another company, they will merge. The moment they have merged with the other company or they have acquired another company, they also own the employees. If they own the employees, one of the employees are the top managers. So that is a very big advantage because there may be very well skilled and experienced top managers, and the moment they are owned or acquired or have become part of the bigger company, they will be of greater benefits to that particular merger. That's very, very important and very, very clear kind of reasoning or advantage, or rather benefit. We may have synergy. We have synergy. Synergy. When we talk of synergy, we should remember that 1 plus 1 will not be 2. 1 plus 2, 1 plus 1 will definitely be 3. In synergy, there is one more added advantage that may not be seen clearly, that we'll have when we merge or when we acquire with another company. So there is an additional advantage that will be seen, so that 2 plus 2 is not 4, 2 plus 2 is 5, 3 plus 3 is not 6, 3 plus 6 is 7. There is an additional advantage. That's according to synergy. Now that computation is a computation that we cannot say to a class 1 kid. We cannot say that to a class 2, 3. They will disapprove you. They will say, no, that cannot be the correct position. 1 plus 1 cannot be 3. 1 plus 1 is 2. Yeah, we agree with that. But for the purpose of explaining synergy, we are trying to say that there is one more advantage that may not be seen, that will be as a result of a merger or an acquisition. That's why we have 2 plus 2 being 5, 3 plus 3 being 7, as far as synergy is concerned. Very important. Okay, so then that is an advantage, synergy. Friends, we also have the defensive mergers. Defensive mergers. Defensive mergers is where companies will merge with the friendly companies in order to avoid a hostile takeover or a hostile merger. So that's why they will want to quickly merge with other friendlier companies. Friends, we also have the finance and liquidity. Finance and liquidity. Finance and liquidity. Some companies may be doing very well, and if we merge or we acquire the other company that is well doing, will easily increase our financial status, will increase our liquidity position. That is the very, very important advantage or reason or benefit that may be behind mergers and acquisition. So friends, those are the main examples or the main reasons, advantages, benefits of a merger and acquisition. Now friends, we'll want to move on further and develop this topic further. Other than the advantages, we now want to look at the element of the takeover. We want to look at takeover. We'll want to look at the business of acquisition. Yeah, hostile acquisition. Hostile acquisition. Now, as we have just said, we'll want to know what a hostile acquisition is. Friends, a hostile acquisition is the acquisition of one company called the target company by another called by the acquirer, that is accomplished by going directly to the company's shareholders or fighting to replace management to get the acquisition approved. It's a type of merger and acquisition where one company called the acquirer takes control of the ownership of another company called the target company against the wishes of the target company's management. Also in this case, the acquirer is called the raider because the acquisition is done by force. So in summary, we are saying this acquisition is acquisition by force. Acquisition or acquisition against the wishes of the target company. That's just a summary of what a wholesale takeover is, or a wholesale acquisition. As we must have said, we can call it a takeover or acquisition. That we are acquiring the target by force. We're using force. We are doing it against the wishes of the target company shareholders. Now we'll want to look at some of the indicators, the prediction. We'll want to look at the prediction of hostile of acquisition. Let me say of hostile acquisition or just of acquisition. What will be the prediction of hostile acquisition or just acquisition? What are the predictions? What are the signals that we can easily use to identify or indicate that this company is likely to be acquired? One of the indicator or one of the prediction element is resource mismatch. Resource mismatch hypothesis. Resource mismatch hypothesis. In resource mismatch hypothesis, it means that the company has a potential of performing better, but it does not have the sufficient resources that can make it perform better. And at that point, we realize that this company may be performing poorly, not because it cannot perform better, but because the resources are unavailable. So those are some of the indicators that this company can easily be taken over. Then we have two. There is price earnings ratio hypothesis. Price earnings ratio hypothesis. Price earnings ratio hypothesis. In this case, friends, it means that the lower the price earnings ratio of a company, the lower the market value. And if there is a lower market value, then it means this company can be acquired very easily. It may not be that expensive because the price earnings ratio is low. If the price earnings ratio is lower than the market value, and you need to remember that to get the market value is simply the price earnings ratio. The price earnings ratio, you multiply the earnings. You multiply the earnings or the earnings per share. So that is to get the market value. So the lower the price earnings ratio, the cheaper or the easier the company is to be acquired. It can easily be acquired. So that is the price earnings ratio. We also have the industrial disturbances. Industrial disturbance hypothesis. Friends, with this one company may be having issues in the industry. For example, one company the employees may be striking so frequently in one company, or the company may have other political interference, unlike the other. So if you realize that company B is experiencing some interference from external interference or internal interference within the industry, then that company can easily be acquired. For example, if company B has some political interference, maybe is not a friendly kind of company to the government, company A will identify that and will easily come with a proposal. We have seen that you as a company, your business is not in line with the expected political lineage in a given economy. So we have this offer and they are ready to pay to take over the company. So that's an easy target. When you realize that one company has frequent industrial disturbances, employees are on strike, there's external interference, there's political interference, that is a signal or an indicator that that company can easily be taken over by another known as the predator. So that is one of the prediction of a takeover. Friends, we also have insufficient management hypothesis. Insufficient management hypothesis. hypothesis, insufficient management hypothesis. Some management may not have they may not be well skilled or experienced to identify that the company is likely to be taken over. They cannot easily identify the strategies to be put against wholesale takeover. And that means that this company can easily be taken over by the predator with a lot of ease. That is in a case when we have insufficient management, or the management do not have the proper knowledge and skills of running that particular company. That means that it has a very high indications of being taken over. Number 5, size hypothesis. Size hypothesis. When it comes to size hypothesis, friends, it means that a bigger company will easily take over a small company. If the company is more in size, then it can easily be taken over. It's not possible the other way around. It's not possible for a small company to take over a bigger company. That cannot happen. But a bigger company can easily take over a small company. So that's an indicator, or that's one of the predictions that this company is likely to be taken over because the size is considerably small size. Now, these, friends, are the main prediction, the indicators that a company is likely to be taken over. We'll want to look at the strategies. What are the strategies that are available or at the disposal of the target company in avoiding a hostile takeover? What are the strategies? What are the strategies in avoiding a hostile takeover? Strategies of avoiding a hostile takeover. What are these strategies? Strategies of avoiding a hostile takeover. Strategies of avoiding a hostile takeover. What are the strategies of avoiding a hostile takeover? Is a sale of crown jewels. Sale of crown jewels. Friends, this means that the target company will sell off the most attractive assets of the company, leaving the target company a skeleton, leaving the target company without attractive assets that were making a potential target. So this means the target company sells the most attractive assets that was making it a potential target. Leaving the target company unattractive. That is the most very influential kind of strategy. Sale of crown jewels. Sale of crown jewels. Number 2. Number 2 is use of Pacman defense. Use of Pacman defense. This is simply a counter offer, where the target company will give a counter offer and say, if the predator gives an offer of acquiring the target will also give a counter offer and say, no, we also want to acquire you at this price. The predator may say that we want to acquire you at $200 million. The target will now say we want to acquire you $300 million. So at that point, giving a counter offer, the predator will definitely be scared and will not be ready for the offers. 3, shark repellent. Use of shark repellent. This is the use of supermajority. Use of supermajority, whereby you will only approve, you amend the Articles of Association such that the acquisition or the takeover can only succeed if it has been approved by the majority shareholders. You say maybe 90% of the shareholders, knowing that it's not possible. Knowing that it's not possible to have 100% approval or 90% approval. So you amend so that you have the supermajority approval for the purpose of acquisition or the takeover. Use of white knight or white square. In this case, we are going to use a friendlier company to take over the target. Yeah? Use of a friendlier company to take over the target instead of a hostile takeover. So the target company will look for a friendlier company that can easily merge or can easily be taken over by that friendlier company. In the process, they will have avoided they defended themselves from being taken over by the hostile company or by the hostile predator. We also have use of poison pill. Number 5, use of poison pill. Now, the use of poison pill, friends, is a scenario whereby one company or the target company will use more debt, will involve leverage. It will be more geared, it will be more levered, such that the predator will be scared. The predator will not like a scenario where that target company is highly levered. Because if it's highly levered, that company or the predator will easily make a decision or make a judgment that they are likely to remain paying, or rather paying the interest and principal of the long-term debt. So in that case, the target company will employ more leverage, it will be more levered, and that will scare away the hostile takeovers. So that's a strategy, simply a strategy to use. So use of poison pill. We use the poison pill, that's number 5. Number 6, friends, we are going to have legal redress. Legal redress. In legal redress, the target company will go to court and seek an injunction against the takeover. So legal redress. Then we have 7, use of golden parachutes. Golden parachutes. Use of golden parachutes is a scenario whereby the target company will offer a good package on resignation of the employees, a good package on retirement of employees, so that the predator, when the predator is analyzing, the performance and all the contracts of the target company, they realize that if they are going to acquire or they are going to take over the target company facility, some employees may prefer resigning, because if they prefer resigning, they will be given a very attractive package. If they will be required to be paid attractive package, this will leave the target company as a skeleton. This will leave the predator with no options but to pay and end up losing and making losses. So companies, employees will prefer resigning because there's a better package for that. Or they may be there, but their retirement package will be very attractive, such that it will be very expensive for the predator company to pay. So that will scare away the predator company. So that is what we are saying as use of golden parachutes. Use of dividends, dividend policy. In this case, we are going to use fixed dividend. That will be very expensive. Maybe we say fixed plus bonus, dividends that should be given to the shareholders of the target company. If we increase or if we design a dividend policy such that it will appear to be very expensive once the company will be taken over. It will appear to be very expensive once the company will be taken over. It will be expensive to the predator. Then the predator will opt out of the acquisition, because it will be too expensive to acquire a company. They will be required to pay very expensive or very high dividend payout ratio. So that is the use of dividend payout ratio. They can say that out of the returns or the profits, we should pay 80% of the profits as dividends, or 90% of the profits plus bonus. That will appear to be very expensive, and that will scare away the predator from taking away the target. Number 9, we also have inching a series of profit forecasts. If a company or target company will issue a series of profit forecasts, then this will increase the value. This will increase the expectation of the target. It will increase the expectation of the public as well. If they increase the expectation of the market, the public, and the investors of that particular target company, then the market value or the value of this target will increase. This will scare away the predator, as the predator will not be able to manage the affordability, or they will not be able to pay for the offer price, because it's likely to be expensive to acquire such a company. So issuing a series of profit forecasts. Then we also have, we have said, use of shark repellent. Then we also have share repurchase. There is share repurchase arrangement. What happens? The target company will purchase their own shares. They will repurchase their own shares back, and they will redeem. In other words, we use that term. They will redeem their shares from the public. And if they redeem their shares, then it means they will not have infiltration of the company. Will not have so many shareholders who may turn to be the shareholders of the predator, and they make a decision in favor of the predator. So that is what we have as a share repurchase arrangement. They will own more of the shares, and the predator will not easily garner the super majority. Now that's the defense tactics or the strategies to avoid a outside takeover. We also call them defense tactics. Defense tactics of avoiding outside takeover. We repeat, we are saying about the sale of crown jewels, where we are selling off the most attractive assets of the company, leaving the target company as a skeleton. We have said about the use of Pac-Man defense. When you use the Pac-Man defense, friends, believe you me, we easily scare away the hostile company. we are going to give a counter offer where the hostile company will give us an offer, for example, $400 million. We give a counter offer of $500 million of acquiring them. So in the process, we repel. Then we also have the use of shark repellent. If you're going to use the shark repellent strategy, we amend the articles of association to have a supermajority. If you have a supermajority, then it means simply that for an acquisition to be approved, then it must be approved by more than 90% shareholders or by 100% shareholders. So that's in an AGM. And you know very well that will be unachievable. It will not be easy. Use of white knight or white square. In the white knight, the target company will get a friendlier company to acquire it, or a friendlier company to merge with. If you merge with a friendly company, then the hostile takeover will not have anything to acquire because you have already merged or you have already been acquired by a friendly company. We have the use of poison pill. We say that this target will prefer use of leverage, will gear its financing, will gear the financing of the assets accordingly. And if they do that, then the hostile takeover or the hostile company will be scared because they will not want to take over a company that is more geared or highly levered, since they will be required to pay more out as interest on the principal amount of the leverage. We also have seeking legal redress. A target will seek a legal redress. They will go to court and seek an injunction against the takeover, the hostile takeover. Use of golden parachutes. Golden parachutes meaning that they will offer attractive resignation packages or retirement packages to the employees and top managers, such that if these employees will decide to resign on acquisition, they will be required to be paid very highly or very large big packages, and these will render or will make the target become a skeleton, or the predator will not manage to pay that. We also have use of dividend policy, where they will have a dividend policy that will require the predator to make huge payments as dividends out of the profits, and that will, or it will be a fixed dividend, and that will make it expensive. It will scare away the hostile company. Issuing a series profit forecast, whereby the target company will issue forecast, series profit forecast. In that regard, it will increase the market expectation. It will increase the market perception. It will also increase the public perception and the investors. That will increase the value of the company. If it increases the value of the company, then the target, or rather the predator company, will be unable to afford the value of the offer price. That is one of the advantages. Then share repurchase arrangement, where the target company will redeem their shares from the public so that they can easily have the supermajority of making decisions against the hostile takeover. Then, friends, we'll want to look at some of the forms of consideration of mergers and acquisition. Forms of payment consideration. Forms of consideration. Forms of consideration of mergers and acquisition. Meaning, these are the payments, the payment method, the payment methods. Now, one, it can be by cash. Two, it can be by issue of shares. This is share for share exchange. If it's for share exchange, it means that the shareholders of the target company, they will become shareholders of the predator, or they become shareholders of the bigger company. Then we may also have debenture debenture for share exchange. This means that the debenture, the shareholders of the target, they become debenture holders of the predator, or they become debenture holders of the new bigger company that they have merged. So this is, and we may also have a combination. A combination of cash, share issue, and debenture. So there are various advantages if you talk of why we need to use cash. If you use cash, that is only if the cash is available. If you use cash, then it means that there will be no dilution of the earnings per share. There will not be dilution of control in the new company. Then if it's by issue of shares, then it means that the shareholders of the target will become shareholders of the predator, or the shareholders of the bigger new merged company. In that case, we are going to dilute the the earnings of the shareholders of the predator. Debenture for share, we may have the effect of control, because the debenture holders will have their own maybe some covenants that will have to be made. Then we may want to have a mix, that is a combination of cash, shares issue, and debentures. Now we'll want to look at the merger analysis. Merger analysis. What is merger analysis? Merger analysis is we'll want to carry out an analysis to see whether this company is viable of a merger or an acquisition. We'll want to carry out an evaluation, and as such, and very many steps that may be involved for the purpose of determining whether it's the company can easily be a target or for acquisition or for a merger. There are main three stages that are involved in merger analysis. Stages involved. The stages involved: one is the merger planning. We have the merger planning. Two, we have the searching and screening. Searching and screening. So that is searching and screening. There is also financial evaluation. Fine. In merger planning, the predator should review its corporate objectives of acquisition in light of its strengths and weaknesses. Evaluate own business to see which needs addition or being dropped. Also check the industry data on market growth rate, market shares of competition, ease of entry, intensity of capital and labor regulations. In searching and screening, it involves searching for possible candidates for acquisition and shortlisting a few from the many available. There are several objectives available in merger and include attain a high growth rate, improve profitability, improve managerial effectiveness, eliminate efficient operations. Target companies selected should be the ones that meet most of the merger objectives. Then financial evaluation. This helps to determine the earnings and cash flows, areas of risk, maximum price payable for the acquisition, and the best means of financing the merger. Financial evaluation involves the following steps. We have identity, post-merger growth and profitability assumptions and scenarios, project the cash flows, magnitudes and their timings, estimate the required rate of return desired, compute NPV for each scenario, decide whether the acquisition is profitable on the basics NPV criteria, using the NPV criteria, and determine the best method that should be used to finance the mergers. not forgetting evaluating the impact of mergers on the earnings per share and price earnings ratio. We'll want to see some of the role of investment bankers in mergers. One, the role of investment bankers in mergers. One, they help arrange mergers. Two, they help the target companies develop and implement defensive techniques. Three, establishing a fair value. And four, they help finance the mergers. However, there are reasons why mergers have failed in the past. What are the reasons of failure of mergers? One, poor strategic fit. Two, cultural and social differences. Three, incomplete and inadequate due diligence. Four, poorly managed integration. Five, paying too much. And six, over relying or being too much optimistic. Friends, as you have seen, mergers and acquisition is a very frequent trend. And we have gone through what is important. We have even seen why they fail, like being too much optimistic, right? Or there is enthusiastic bidding, or there is poor corporate parenting. So those are some of the reasons why these these companies or these mergers and acquisition have failed in the past. The most technical part we are also going to look at next is about evaluation or financial evaluation of a merger and acquisition. That's what we're going to be looking at, how we evaluate the mergers and acquisition, the necessary computation that is expected, and that's when we also look at an example of what is expected of us. So thank you for this lesson. We have come to the end of this lesson. I repeat on the same, and then we'll want to meet in the next session that will be more practical as far as our exams are concerned. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I know you not want to afford to miss the next session. See you then in the next session. I wish you all the best.